Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Daze and welcome to this Wyatt Sicks video. We're going to talk about what went down on Raw with the Wyatt Sicks segments. And I think before we actually get into anything, I'm actually going to do something a little bit different. And I'm just going to show you what's in the folder. And the reason why I want to do that is because I think there's actually a massive element that's kind of being missed by a few people. And it's just the power of the imagery, right? I really mean it. I mean, look at some of the images that this group is giving us, right? So, for example, we've got this. This was tweeted out just before the show. We'll get back to it. But here you've got, like, Nikki screaming. And obviously we would see that in the interview, right? We'll get to the interview. But you've got this image. You've got, like, the whole group here. You've got Howdy kind of standing behind Chad. You've got this image from that interview where you've got Nikki. A look at Nikki with her eye and the mask. You see her eye up there as well. Just looks so good. And, like, this as well. This is, like, from the crowd. And you can see all the smoke in the ring and everything. Look at all the fireflies, all the lights. Again, like, just some of the stuff. Look at this. This goes really hard for me. I really love this shot because if you think about last week with Bo getting beaten down, this was his revenge. This was him standing up for himself, coming back, kind of standing up to the bully, really. So he was getting smashed last week and he's like, are you so tough now, are you? And, like, I just love that image. I think that looks great. The Sister Abigail and kind of how it compares to The Fiend and to Bray. I mean, he's not as big, clearly, but I still think he's got a decent size to him, right? I said during the live stream, it doesn't look like me trying to do a Sister Abigail. Like, he's still got, you can tell he's been going to the gym, you know? Again, look at this. Look at this. I just think some of this imagery just looks so good. So, a lot of people, or not a lot of people, some people were saying that they were a little bit down on what we got this week. They didn't really feel like we got a great deal. The interview was quite short. The in-ring thing with the group didn't come out and do anything. There was a Sister Abigail. That was about it. And so I thought I would sit down and just jot down 10 things that we learnt this week. So I've actually got 10 things that we learnt. So I think there's 10 things we can take away from this week. And again, I think above that, as well as that, I just think the power of some of this imagery is you just can't overstate it. There's not any other superstars that are giving us images like what this group is giving us, right? So I think there's real value in that as well. So let's go down the list of 10 things and then we'll work our way through what's in the folder. So the first thing that I've got is that Nikki hasn't accepted or confronted her issues like Bo and Rowan. It's quite clear that she is still very troubled. This was not a sit-down interview where she was kind of opening herself up. You know, we heard from Rowan, we heard from Bo. We didn't hear from Nikki. She was not in a place where she was seemingly ready to kind of have that conversation. She doesn't seem to be in the same sort of place as Rowan and Bo. And I said during the live stream, does that make her more dangerous? Does that make her more unpredictable? I think it's very interesting that she was not sitting there saying how she felt abandoned and all of this. It doesn't feel like she's got to the point where she can do that yet. So I thought that was very interesting. We also found out what Nikki looks like without her mask on. We didn't know what she would look like. I mean, obviously we know what her face looks like, but were they going to do something shocking? Were they going to have her face painted? You know, there was every chance that her face could have been painted white with the kintsugi lines kind of put all on. Or were they going to do something different? You know, we didn't know. And it's pretty standard, to be honest. I mean, she's just got like black lipstick by the looks of it, eyeliner and everything, and dark eyeliner. And so at least we got to see what's under the mask. And again, I think this is really important because some people might look at the interview and go, we didn't get a great deal from it. Did we even need to do it? But my counterpoint to that would be there's a lot of people that don't know who these members are. They don't know who's in this group. You might, and I might, but there's people out there that didn't engage in Nightbirds. I've said before, like, I don't think that many people engaged with Nightbirds. You could be looking at 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, right? That sounds like a lot of people, but there's 1.7 million that watch Raw. It was nowhere near those numbers that were engaging in Nightbird. The vast majority didn't. It was very good, and it worked, and it gave a boost to WWE social media numbers, but it weren't 1.7 million. So that means there's a lot of people that are behind us with this story. They're not as up to speed as what we are. So it's difficult because for us, we might look at this and go, yeah, I didn't get much from that. But there will be people out there that did. So showing who these people are, removing their masks, showing their true identities, taking away any doubt whatsoever as to who these people are. Because I think even Michael Cole has been saying, who is this? What's going on? Like, he's been no-selling that he doesn't know who these people are. So he should now know who they are now that we've seen their faces. So there is a reason to do it. So seeing her without the mask on, I thought was important. It also shows that the interviews are going to be different. It's not going to be the same sit-down interview. I'm going to, like, you know, pour my heart out. It's not going to be the same sort of Bo Rowan interview every week. We don't know what we're going to get. What we got from Nikki is very different to what we got from Rowan, is very different to what we got from Bo. What we get from Dexter might be very different from what we get from Nikki, what we get from Bo. Of course, Dexter, we're not expecting him to speak. So he may have to communicate with writing words down or drawing pictures. What we get from Joe Gacy could be different again. So again, that was something new that we learned, that these interviews, they're not going to follow the same path every single time. It's not just going to be rinse and repeat. So I thought that was interesting. The other thing as well is I think we learned that Nikki was the bride because they did show the bride at the start of her video. And I think that's the first time we've seen the bride since this group has debuted. So seeing the bride again was very interesting. We saw the bride lifting up the veil. It would have been brilliant to have seen the face, just to have had that 100% confirmed. But the fact that it was included in this interview video package makes me think that's their way of saying that Nikki is the bride. The only reason that I've got a little asterisk next to it is that it could be one hell of a swerve. It could be that they've teased that, yes, she was the bride, right? The person that was in those videos as we were building, like, through Nightbirds, only for it to finally be revealed that it's actually Alexa. By the time we get to SummerSlam, it could actually be revealed that it's Alexa. And we're only a few weeks from SummerSlam. There's been no Alexa teases to my knowledge, right? No Alexa teases. Nothing that's like she's coming or anything like this, or, you know, the Nightbird is on the way or anything like that. There's been nothing to tease the arrival of Alexa. So it really is making me scratch my head a little bit as to, well, if she just shows up at SummerSlam, like, how are we going to do that? Because we haven't laid any groundwork down. I mean, is she just going to arrive and is she going to be in the group? It's making me wonder if perhaps she won't be. Perhaps they're going to bring her back as goddess and she won't be in the group. And then the Wyatt Sicks are going to try and recruit her. Or is the bride at the start of the Nikki video, is that going to be revealed to be Alexa? And then we bring her back as the bride character? I think it's going to be Nikki the bride, and it was in this video, and I think that's something that they were trying to tell us, and I think that's something we can take away. But we do still need to kind of leave an open mind about that one. And I think the Alexa point is very valid. How are we bringing her in at SummerSlam if we just haven't been teasing her? I just don't. Is she going to come in and not be part of the group? We'll have to wait and see. So for me, those were the bits that I took away from the Nikki part, right? In regards to the other segment, when we're actually in the ring, we've got the dreads are attached to the mask. We didn't know if the Howdy dreads were attached to the hat or the mask. Looks like they're attached to the mask, and that means he should have the dreads when he wrestles, because when Howdy wrestles, I'm sure he's wrestling in the mask. So when he wrestles, I'm sure he'll have the mask on. That means he'll wrestle with the dreads. It was only the hat that was missing and his jacket, which brings me to my next point. We've now seen Uncle Howdy's wrestling attire, because he was in the ring with Chad's and he hit a sister Abigail and he didn't have his jacket, he didn't have his hat, he had his mask, he had his dreads. I think that's what he wrestles in. I think we've seen 100% that is what he's going to wrestle in. That is what he's going to look like when he wrestles a match. So for me, that's kind of confirmation as to what we're going to get there. There you are. This is like a new catchphrase. He said it again when he was in the ring today. He said it a little bit different to how Bo said it. It might just have been a different situation. I don't know that it's necessarily a different voice that he's putting on or anything. But it's very interesting because James Chadwick on our live stream, he made what I thought was a really good point, because the question was asked, there you are, what do we think that means? And as I said, we tackled this on a video on the second channel, thought it was a brilliant video, and we tackled it in there. And one of the theories that I like is that there you are is when you see like the darkness of the person. Everyone's got darkness in them, and when that darkness takes over, you're sort of letting your fiend kind of come through. Now, your fiend might be the same as my fiend, might be the same as, like, you know, everyone's fiend. Everyone might have a fiend in them. It's when you allow that darkness to take over, right? That's when, like, you're letting him in. And this was the point that James was making. What about if there you are is connected to let him in? What did let him in mean? Well, I always thought it was the fiend saying, let me in, right? The fiend wanted you to embrace your darkness because your darkness was the fiend, right? And I really like that theory that we've all got a bit of the fiend in us. I really like that theory. So to take it that next stage, right? Once you've let him in, once you've actually done that, all that's left to do really is to acknowledge it. And that's where Bo can now come along and say, there you are. As Bo sees that darkness. And I feel like that may have been what Bo did last week when he was in the ring with Chad's. He saw the darkness in Chad as Chad was beating him up. And that darkness is the fiend. I'm not saying that Chad has got the fiend in him. I'm saying that we all have that darkness in us. And if you channel it a certain way, then you can create your own fiend with that darkness. And I think that Bo identified that and was like, there you are. So that's just a theory. That the let me in and the there you are may relate to the fiend. This might be like the next stage after let me in. It definitely feels like a catchphrase. And we heard it again here, right? So there you are. I expect to hear that quite a lot from Bo, from Uncle Howdy going forwards, right? And again, we can throw theories around as to what they mean when they say that. I'd like to know what people are thinking. Well, we heard it again, and it was said a slightly different way, and it was said in the ring again. And as we said, this feels like a new catchphrase. I've got another one here, and it's just that we are still going quite slow. The Wyatt Sicks did not attack the Creeds. They didn't come down and actually get involved. I'm wondering if that's because we're saving that moment for SummerSlam. And they didn't want to give it away here on Raw. If you want to see Rowan going at it and you want to see Mercy going at it, you're going to have to tune into SummerSlam to see that. So I wonder if that's why they didn't come down to the ring and get physically involved, right? But also, we didn't even get the match announced. We still don't know. Is it Alpha Academy against Wyatt Sicks? or is it Chad against Uncle Howdy? At the moment, no match is announced for SummerSlam. And I'm stunned. I really thought we would have that by the end of tonight. I really thought we would get that on this Raw, and we didn't. So that's something else that we sort of learned, if you will, is that even now, this story is still going at the kind of slower pace. It's going at the pace it wants to go at. They don't want it to be going super quick, otherwise they would make it go super quick. They're quite happy to just allow this story to just play out. So, yeah, I'm stunned we haven't had that match announced, but I suppose it gives us something to look forward to next week, because I still can't sit here and tell you exactly what the match is that we're going to get at SummerSlam. I think it's faction versus faction, but it may be Howdy against Chads, and the factions kind of just stay on the outside for this one. We've got Sister Abigail, obviously, so that looks like it will be Uncle Howdy's finisher. He hit that, obviously, in the ring, which was awesome to see. So great to see a Sister Abigail again. And then the last one I've got, I shouldn't even really have to write this down, but I thought I'd better write it down, because there's been plenty of people telling me that the crowd didn't care about this. The crowd definitely cared about this. The crowds, you know, started cheering when the lights went out. Fireflies came out, and really just seconds later, "You effed up" was the chant that broke out from the crowds. These crowds were into this. They were on board with this. I mean, look, they were not going bananas. Okay, I'm quite happy to concede they were not losing their minds, like absolutely freaking out. But this notion that the crowd just don't care about this whatsoever, and that this is dead on arrival, couldn't be further from the truth. This crowd cared. And as we said, there was even a "you effed up" chant, so that was lovely to hear. I mean, I think that this is just going to keep growing as you keep giving the crowd more and more cool imagery, as you keep giving them more and more cool moments, as people at home start to see more and more of this kinds of stuff. They're just going to get bigger and better reactions. So I think we're in a really good place. We're still at a very early place, though. But yeah, I mean, look, I've just gone down 10 things that I've took away from today's show. I've shown you some of the imagery that was on the show, which I thought was very impressive. I think there's lots here for us to be excited about. I think that it might not have been a week where we changed the world or anything, but what we did was really solid, really effective, got to the point, didn't outstay its welcome, and taught us a fair few things as well. So let's work our way through, shall we? So this was the tweet that they sent out about half an hour before Raw, and I was moaning during the show, couldn't you have put this out like yesterday? I would have loved to have had this, and we could have really theorized about it and got our teeth into it. Can't really do much with it half an hour before Raw starts. I'd already started our watch along, right? So that was a little frustrating. Please don't leave it so late in the future, Wyatt Sicks, or whoever is running your social media account. But yeah, look at yourself is what was said. And then you've got a screaming Nikki Cross. So that dropped half an hour before Raw. These are some of the images. There, of course, is Uncle Howdy in the ring, sneaking up on Chad's, the Wyatt Sicks in the entranceway that we've seen before. That's the Sister Abigail, and that's Uncle Howdy with his arms outstretched. Just some really great-looking images. I have retweeted this. So this is in full. I think I retweeted the official WWE one. I'll retweet this one just in case. I'm pretty sure I retweeted it. But Ian, thank you. Here it is in full. Some of the imagery on this is really great. As we said, you know, there she is just sat there. She does not look like she is in that kind of stable place that Bo and Rowan are. I mean, that don't look like a stable woman to me. And trust me, I've been around a lot of unstable women. So, but look at this. Look at that. Look at the smile. She was born for this role, man. She was so born for this. There's some really great imagery. There was a bit where it sounded like she was crying as well. Where that bit where it goes dark, and then at the end she screams, and as she screams, I loved this noise that kind of appeared on the picture. It was kind of like she was affecting the recording with her scream. It seemed like it was interrupting the equipment. Her scream was just so primal. I thought it was great. So yeah, just loads of really great imagery. And as we said, we got the bride at the start as well, kind of mixed in, which really made me, and that bit where, you know, you get the pulling back of the veil, but you never actually see who it is. Is that what it was going to be? Is that what it was going to be? Is that what we would have seen had that veil have been totally removed? Very good. Very, very good. So I really like that. I thought it was short. I thought it was to the point. It was it sounded like Howdy. I mean, I'm not aware. I have listened to it back. It didn't sound like a female voice to me this time. So I don't know if there's something in that. We weren't sure if it was a female voice that spoke to Rowan. I didn't feel like it was a female voice this time. Let's compare the there you are's, shall we? So this one, I don't know how loud this is going to be, but this is the one that Bo said to Chad. There you are. There you are. Kind of, he hung on the words a little bit. This is the one that he says here. There you are. He hangs on the words still, but in a slightly different way. In a slightly different way. I feel like it's the same 3 words, but I don't know if it's being used in a slightly different way. But he does say it. I don't know if it like really picked it up very well, but he does say it just before he hits him with the Sister Abigail. So, yeah, there you are. Bo Dallas versus Uncle Howdy, Detective of Wrestling. Shout out to you. Jimmy Johnson, thank you. We Sportsman has got this footage, which we can have a look in a bit. I've got it saved a bit further up. Here's Metal Mama, who was at the show. Brady, thank you. Metal Mama said, I'm still in shock. They were right in front of me. Thank you, Wyatt Sicks. So again, just some of the images here. And we've got some footage there as well of the group in the entranceway as they were like making their way down. Look at all these phones that are out. You can't tell me people don't care. But look at all these people that are like filming and everything as well. All the smoke filling the ring, all the lights on the entranceway, that light shooting out as well. It looks so good. Was Chad on a trampoline? I will be surprised if he isn't in a neck brace next week, said WWE Ethan. Hashtag pray for Chad Gable. So look at this. Yeah, he plants him. Boom. And I tell you, Chad sells that so well. He really sells it well. Boom. Look at that. He like really flips over. Respect to Chad for that. Oh, and here we go. Look, Silverbolt said, I had this done to propose to my boyfriend. He said yes. Bray and WWE were part of how we bonded in the early stages of our relationship. We can't wait to see the Wyatt Sicks in-ring debut. Look at that. Look at that. The circle of red. The words of the red. Going all the way around. That looks absolutely amazing. So, Silverbolts, many congratulations. Thank you for sharing that. That is so cool. So, many congratulations. It's really cool. It's nice. I don't know how to deal with nice things, to be honest. I like dark and moody. Here, talking of dark and moody, here's WWE Ethan. Is it me, or does Bo, Uncle Howdy, have immense presence? I mean, here he does. I love this with the dreads coming down. I think I'm pleased that they put the dreads on the mask. I think it works so much better with the dreads. I mean, look, he's not Bray. We know that. He's not got the size of Bray. I mean, is that something he can keep working on? Can he continue to get bigger? I don't know, but he's got an all right size. He's fine. It's not a problem. I think the problem is if people are expecting Bray. That would be a problem. So just don't. Don't expect Bray. Expect Bo. But yeah, I mean, look, his arms look like they've got an all right size to them. And he's height-wise, you know, he's a bit taller, obviously, than Chad. I mean, yeah, and the mask and the dreads. And yeah, let's go. You can't kill me in a way that matters. I think Bo took a lot of inspiration for his ring gear from Bray's Duke Rotundo look. So here, look, you can see a vest with these little buttons on, right? And then up here, have we got a better picture? Here, look. A vest with like the buttons going down. I mean, it's not identical by any means, but it is, you can see a similarity. So yeah, did he take inspiration from like an early Bray character? I mean, look, not everything's going to be inspired by Bray. We are paying tribute to Bray in lots and lots of ways. Maybe this is, maybe this isn't, but I thought it was an excellent spot from Brew Joe Bear, so excellent work. Here as well, look, TJF 1983 just showing Bray, Fiends. And there we go. There is Uncle Howdy delivering his own sister Abigail. Very cool. Ronnie Mac said the fact that Uncle Howdy's mask has got the dreads based on Bray's old hairstyle makes me emotional. He even had a single red dread similar to the ones that Bray used to have. Love that, Ronnie. Jazza said, you effed up. Yep. Again, that's what the crowd were chanting. And it was lovely to hear them on boards. James said, Uncle Howdy, look at yourself. They lie to you, ignore you, watched you suffer in solitude. I have been the answer all along. So that is what he said to her. And, you know, she started getting upset and then she like screamed out. And as we said, it feels like mentally she's not in the same place as Bo and Rowan. And I think that makes her quite intriguing, actually. Quite intriguing. I think this has added an extra wrinkle to this character because it's not what I was expecting. I was expecting her to talk about what it was like to be left alone and in solitude and abandoned and all of that. She didn't. She's not there. So, yeah, goods. And this is what we're going to end on. So here we've got fan footage. Look at this from behind. There's Howdy with Chad. And look, I mean, you can see how well it was sold there. Absolutely brilliant. Love that. He's on his knees, throws his arms out. Looks down at Chad's. And, yeah, oh God, that's a really good clip, in it. Like, you get a really good shot of how well Chad sells this. Oh, mate, that is so good. That is so good. He sells that so well. So, there we go. And, of course, we saw the Creeds come down and they were attacking Otis and all that stuff. So the other thing we might have learned is that I think Otis is still really over. Crowd still love him. I think people want to see Chad versus Otis. So I don't know that the Wyatts are going to stick on Chad and the Alpha Academy for very long, because I think they might end up going after a different target after SummerSlam, and I could see Chad getting into a match with Otis. I mean, Chad versus Otis, that actually doesn't feel like a match that we've left behind. Chad came out and confronted Otis and insulted him, and I thought that was done. I thought that Chad had just moved on to the Creeds, but that was something else we learned. I don't think he has. And there's maybe a good chance that we do get Chad versus Otis at a PLE or maybe a Raw kind of after SummerSlam. So there we go. That's quite a few thoughts there, to be honest. We're nearly clocking into about half an hour, which I didn't expect when I started recording this. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Yeah, so much to talk about. So much for us to get our teeth into. Feel free to let me know in the comments below. But yeah, keep an eye out on that second channel, because I'm constantly asking for your thoughts and opinions on things. And I will have one up in the next day or so that will be based on the Wyatt Sicks. So keep your eyes peeled on my Twitter accounts so that you can not miss anything. This is the Twitter account, Wrestling Daze YT. I've got one that I'm asking for here about Raw. You can see 29 people have already responded. I'd send out feedback requests, and it looks like this. And I'll send one out that asks, for something to do with the Wyatt Sicks. That'll be in the next few days. So awesome. Thanks a lot for watching. Appreciate the support. I will see you again next time. Bye for now.